I'm Colin. I'm working on Concert, which is a collaborative audio organizational tool. If you'd like to hear more about it, I'd be happy to talk about it. But right now I'm talking about success. So we're all here for sort of different motivations, right? Our aims with our projects are sort of all different. Some of us maybe want to have our, sorry, this thing's blocking my notes here. Have our project incorporated into like GNOME or something, or maybe like we want to learn a lot about Objective-C, or really just be proud of something that we've written because it's really robust and modular or something like that. Or maybe we want to benefit RCOS by publicity or something. So you can't really measure success by like if we've reached sort of these motivations that brought us here, because they're sort of all different. But one thing we all do that is in common is we all submit a proposal to Morthy, and then we all write some code and try to do what we said we were going to do. So like that's sort of a common way to measure the success, is if we did what we said we were going to do. So it's kind of could seem scary, but if you think about it, no one is asking you to do anything more than what you said you're going to do. So if you structure sort of like your goals in a way that's comfortable to you, then it's not really that bad to accomplish them. So what I'm going to talk about is ways to do this that I found that are useful, and I hope that you guys try them out if you're looking for a way to do this. So what do setting goals like help you to do? It helps with transparency, because many times when your superiors are paying you to write software for them, they are going to want to know what you're doing. So setting goals before you actually do them is a good way to tell your superiors what you're doing. Setting goals, believe it or not, can help you to not commit to too much than you can actually do. And it's going to help with like the efficiency of your group, because everyone's going to be on the same page. Everyone's going to be working toward the same things, and it can help with, you know, lack of communication and such. So like that's quite a bit of stuff, right? How do you like keep these things transparent and not commit to too much, and like manage all of this? So like I think I have some pretty good ideas. I can't say that I came up with these ideas, but I've used them. So like, if you have goals for the semester, right, you could sort of prioritize them into tiers, right? So if you have some level 1 goals that are like the bare essentials that you need to basically not consider your project a failure for the semester, like you said, this could just be anything that is really, really the most basic requirement of your project. You can then like add some more goals that would be nice to achieve, that you hope to get to, and other goals that, if everything works out perfectly, would really like make the semester like the best that it could have been, and you know could assume maybe that you aren't going to get to some of these last goals. So like structuring the goals like this helps with transparency, because people now know what you're doing. It helps with not committing to too much, because you have this priority of the goals. So even though people know that you're thinking about things that are in this like low priority, they agree with you and understand that you may not get to them. And it's going to help with implementation priority, right? Because now you have prioritized high-level goals, and you can start to implement the ones that are most important. So like, here's an example of our program, Concert. So like, Concert is a web-based tool, so we have this audio organization page, right, where you have all of the functionality that goes along with organizing your audio. So last semester we spent a lot of time making the back end of the software really robust, and this semester is going to be more about the interface. So our basic goals are to get these interfaces fully functional. Right, so that's like a pretty big goal. And then like slightly lower priority is to get like colors and nice looking shiny buttons and things. And After that, if we have time, it would be great to get the UI to be like really responsive with loading notifications and sort of optimize things, right? So it's a good priority of things. So now that you like have high-level goals, right? You still have the problem of actually getting them done. So by a show of hands, like who has taken SD&D? All right. So for those of you that have taken it, you know that SD&D is awesome, but it kind of sucks because you have to write a lot of stuff, right? I mean, writing's great, documentation is awesome. You really always want to document. We've written a lot of stuff for concert, but like when you're writing so much about your process, it's obviously not very practical. What is practical, which they also teach you in SD&D, is iterative development. So since there aren't too many people who are taking SD&D, iterative development is sort of this idea that you have time frames, right? You have this repeating iteration, and for each iteration, you do stuff. And the idea is that, for me, iterative development gives you the opportunity to constantly revise and sort of reevaluate your goals in your project. So it sounds great, right? So like, how do you do it? One way would be to, initially, you could choose a duration for these iterations, right? So like, if you have a project that's going to require a lot of code to get something to work, you may want to choose a longer iteration because this will allow you more time to implement, not as many opportunities to reevaluate your goals and stuff with your team, but you won't really be able to get to a point where you can reevaluate things if you don't have anything like working, you know, so that's a good option. If your project's already working or it's sort of a smaller scope, you could pick a smaller iteration time and it'll give you more opportunities to reevaluate things. So like, what do you do on each of these iterations? So if you're starting out, what you could do is try to make your project, right? So like, it might not be the best solution, right? Like, it's your first iteration, right? No one's asking you to make a great application in 2 or 3 weeks. But what you could do is like make a command line interface to your application. If you're writing a Django application, you can just build the models and test them in the unit tests. Like, don't build any views. You know, just try to build the most basic application you can, the most basic solution to your problem, and try to iterate on it from there. But in general, what you're going to do each iteration, if you're following this sort of method, is refine your goals, right? Because you will have learned stuff by the time you've been developing for a couple weeks, and you may realize that yeah, these shiny UI widgets are really important. Like, we should probably make those like a higher priority. You can then like choose what you're going to tackle next, and create tasks. So like, if you have tasks that are accomplishable, like you can assign them to people, or people can choose what they want to, what tasks they want to take on, and then people can make clear commitments about what they're doing, and people can be held accountable, and it's an easy way to make what you're doing more well-defined. So like, an example of that, so this is this high-level goal for concert, right? I want to make this audio organization page fully functional. I can't just say like, all right guys, like I'll make the audio organization page fully functional, you do the rest. Like, it doesn't really work, because like, what does that mean, like, that's not really a task. But what you can do is say, oh, in order to make the audio organization page fully functional, we need to do all this stuff, like be able to retrieve the collections list through the REST API, be able to display this list in the user interface. Like, those are tasks you can like do. Like, you can like map those to like version control, like commits or pushes or something. Like, those are literally tasks. So now, like, you have high-level goals. Each iteration, you can choose what you're going to tackle. Like, define tasks that are going to like help you get there, that people can take on, and you have an easy way to measure your success. So I hope that helps. If anyone has any questions or like wants any help with it, let me know.